choosing HSP empowerment over drama. There's three primary teachings that I want to refer to in support of today's topic, and I'm going to ask you to write these down as well. The first is referenced as the Karpman Drama Triangle. Karpman. This should be in the chat for you as well. The Karpman Drama Triangle. It's also known as the Karpman Dreaded Drama Triangle as a teaching theory. The second is called the empowerment dynamic. The empowerment dynamic, or otherwise often referred to as the TED triangle. And the third is the HSE and leader Shadow-to-Strengths Triangle Pathway. The HSE Shadow-to-Strength Triangle Pathway. The Karpman Triangle was designed and created by Stephen Karpman. The empowerment dynamic, or the TED triangle, was developed and created by David Emerald. And the HSE and leader Shadow-to-Strengths Triangle Pathway was created by Heather Dominick. The drama triangle. I'm going to ask the team to bring up this handout so we can have eyes on this theory and teaching. The Karpman Drama Triangle. What you'll see here in short is that the teaching demonstrates that there's three primary archetypes that keep a person locked into the experience of drama: persecutor, rescuer, and victim. The persecutor is I blame you, often followed by an experience of internal shame. The rescuer is I am obligated to you, often followed by or fueled by a feeling of resentment. And the victim is I can't, often followed by or fueled by a feeling of stuck and guilt. According to the Karpman Drama Triangle, there is a tendency for most of us to lean towards one dominant drama tendency. Sorry for the repetition there. Either persecutor, rescuer, or victim. Yet we can also bounce back and forth between all three. In short, this theory demonstrates that, again, being caught in this drama triangle is what prevents us from actually being able to grow, change, create what we want, and move our lives forward. Most importantly, our relationships. From here, let's take eyes or put eyes on the TED triangle, the empowerment dynamic triangle. David Emerald developed the TED triangle in response to Karpman's drama triangle. According to this theory, the TED triangle is the way out of the drama triangle. Rather than persecutor, you access challenger, who is committed to the process of growth. What will I create, or what can I create? The coach is the way out of the rescuer. Rather than I am obligated to you, I am here to support you. How will I? How can you create? And the creator is the response to the victim, activating choice. How can I? How can you create? Let's take a breath in and let it out. And from here, the Shadow-to-Strengths Triangle Pathway. So where I've added my own research and work to that of Karpman and that of TED triangles is the HSP shadows that fuel drama for the HSP and the HSP strengths that support empowerment for the HSP. So looking first at that shadow column, we have over responsibility, over protection, and overwhelm. Looking then at just the shadow column and the drama column. The HSP shadow of over responsibility is what tends to have us caught as HSPs in the rescuer role. We remember that when we are caught in that HSP shadow of over responsibility, it's because due to the wiring of our nervous system, we can feel the emotions of others. And when we're in the shadow of over responsibility, we get caught in the limiting belief that because we can feel from others, that means we are obligated to rescue them. Overprotection, when we are guarding ourselves against the world and the possibility of being overwhelmed, we find ourselves in the persecutor role, blaming others for our experience and our HSP reactions to the world at large. When we are in the HSP shadow of overwhelm, that throws us into the victim aspect of the drama triangle. My nervous system is wired to take in stimulation at a high degree. I am overwhelmed and I am a victim of this stimulation within the world. Now, most HSPs, and definitely HSPs who do not engage in training, such as the Highly Sensitive Leadership Training Program, spend the majority of their time and their energy and life experience in the shadow and in the drama columns. When engaging in highly sensitive leadership training, we open to shift from shadow and drama into empowerment by intentionally utilizing and accessing HSP strengths that we are blessed to be wired with. We are able to shift from rescuer into coach by accessing empathy. I can relate to you without being responsible for you. We shift from persecutor into challenger. I am able to access my HSP intuition to have a sense of what it is that you need or what I need myself in order to be able to challenge you and challenge myself to grow. We shift out of victim into creator by accessing our HSP strength of creativity, utilizing energy management tools to get inspired ideas of what it is that we are meant to create in order to be able to show up and shine as HSPs in business and leadership in spite of what's happening in the world around us. Let's take a breath in and let it out. Beautiful. This triangle pathway is part of one of the trainings in the highly sensitive leadership training programs, and it can also be found in my book, Different, which each of you owns and has a copy of. Thank you to the team for the screen share. Now, all of this, choosing HSP empowerment over drama, is directly connected to our current 4Q intuitive plan. First and foremost, Q4, clarity, core practice, and consistency in all three subcategories: self-nurture, relationship nurture, and social impact nurture. Being able to access empowerment and creative solutions to support yourself, to support others, to support the world. Also, beautifully connected to Q1. Create a productive and purposeful life. empowering yourself through your HSP strengths to support with what you're meant to let go of in Q1 when it comes to work, when it comes to rest, and when it comes to play. All so that you can be meeting your 90-day benchmark and 12-month goals, targets, and project focus. Let's take a breath in and let it out. Now, all of this that I've shared today is going to be covered in depth during in-person experience opportunities in 2025. If you choose to add on an in-person experience as part of your highly sensitive leadership training program. I wanted to talk about this just a little bit in depth here and now, especially because this particular training, to be able to shift from from drama to empowerment, from shadows to strengths, and especially with the focus of shifting from rescuer into coach, is going to be more important than ever in the year and years ahead. So in brief, we have 3 in-person training and retreat experiences available for 2025. The first I'm going to speak to is the Quantum Leap Retreat that is happening in October 2025. This is experiential learning, deep experiential learning. Currently, all of the seats for that Quantum Leap Retreat are filled, and there is a wait list available. Next, we have the Acceleration Retreat happening in July 2025. This is a day and a half in-person experience where we're going to be focusing in first on the inner workings that tend to get you stuck in shadows, and specifically the rescuer, and then crafting an external plan to be able to work with to support yourself and taking action as coach. Now, here's where I want to talk about that coach is not only coach as an industry profession. Coach, as referenced in the empowerment dynamic triangle, the TED triangle, is a skill. Specifically for us as HSPs, to be able to access that skill of coach, of being able to use our HSP strengths, such as empathy, such as intuition, such as creativity, to support others rather than being triggered into rescuer and absorber of others and their emotions and their energy. This is an imperative high mastery skill as an HSP, regardless of your industry focus, whether business, whether leadership, or whether simply life. There are currently 5 seats available for the Acceleration Retreat happening in July 2025. Most importantly, or let me say most targeted towards this shift from drama to empowerment, specifically from rescuer and absorber to coach, is the Quantum Leap training that will be happening in May 2025. This is a brand new training that I will be delivering for 12 members who choose to add on the Quantum Leap training to their highly sensitive leadership training program. It will be in depth, focused on 6 modules, including 6 monthly follow-up implementation calls designed specifically around HSP mastery, and specifically that shift from rescuer to coach. Again, not only for those focused in the coaching industry, but coach as an HSP empowerment mastery skill. In the months ahead, you will be tempted to be triggered immensely by the feelings, by the energy, by the emotions, by the beliefs, and by the actions of others. It is going to be more imperative than ever to be able to be in a strong place of mastery, accessing your strengths and accessing empowerment, and most specifically, accessing HSP mastery skills. There are currently 2 seats available remaining for the Quantum Leap training. You've all received information over email. This is also in your online learning center, and we are currently in the early bird tuition. So if this focus of choosing HSP empowerment over drama is something that you know you are meant to and need to engage with as we go into the months and years ahead, absolutely turn to energy management to support yourself with a deep decision about making this addition to your highly sensitive leadership training program. As usual, it's not just about hearing it from me, but hearing from other members who have made this significant decision and this significant type of additional investment in their own highly sensitive leadership training. So I wanted to call on 2 members who attended our 2024 acceleration retreat for the very first time this past August and share a little bit about that experience and what was created and has been created by them, for them, as a result of that training so far in their business and leadership and life. So I'm going to first call on HSL core member Nancy Smith. Welcome, welcome. Love to hear from you. Share with the community a bit about your acceleration retreat experience. Yes, I think we have you, Nancy.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, this was my first time attending an in-person event. So it was the first time actually seeing people in person and not just on the screen. So that was exciting. At the event, one of the things I committed to was showing up more on the forum. And so other than just updating my 4 Qs each. So now I show up and give an update or what's been happening during the week and have an ask. So I've been doing that consistently since July. Yes, yeah, since July. Sometimes I feel I don't have an ask, but as I start writing, something comes up. So I'm usually good with the update, but the ask still, sometimes I find it out as I'm doing my updates. Also, since then, I launched a book club. It was an idea that I had for a long time, and right after the retreat, I selected a start date, sent out invitations to a small group of people, and I initially wanted 6 to 8 people to attend and 13 people registered. So I've been running the group since I started, I think, August. Also with the book club, it's quarterly. We read one book for 4 months, and then we'll choose another book. So that's coming up. We'll choose another book. So the second round of the book club, I will be charging a membership fee, a small membership fee. So that's another way to increase my income. and help with my 12-month goal and 90-day benchmark. And again, I wrote this, and then I'm like, oh yeah, everything had to do with the book club. So I go to the gym basically every day, and I noticed there's this one woman that's on the cardio machines, and she's always reading a book. Like, and that to me is just amazing, because I can listen, but I can't have the hardcover and work out. So I'd always look at her titles. Some of them I'd read, some of them I'd heard of but hadn't read. And some of them I just kind of glance and try and get the name and put it on my book list. So one day I got the courage to actually just go up to her and ask her about one of the books she was reading. And she spoke to me. And I told her about the book club that I was starting, and she was very interested in it. So I said I'd give her the information for the next time it was starting up. And a few more conversations later, I also told her I was a coach. And so a few more conversations later, she mentioned something. I said, would she be interested in the P2P? She was. And we had P2P too. And then she signed on to be a 6-month client. So everything.
So wait a minute. We just have to, we got to connect these dots, right? So you committed to showing up on the forum, and especially with an ask. And let me just also share, at the acceleration retreat, Nancy was so resistant to the idea of the forum that we actually threw around the idea that she could show up on the forum just once a year if she signed a 10-year member agreement. But rather than signing the 10-year member agreement, she committed to showing up on the forum weekly with an ask, which led her to ask people to join her book club, which is going to lead her to ask to be able to receive a membership fee for that book club, which led her to ask a stranger at the gym about the books that she was reading, which led to a P2P, which led her to ask to join her 6-month. What? Can we just see the dots? And that's acceleration. And this is all since August. Can we just give Nancy a round of applause, please? Nancy, so well done. I'll still take that 10-year participant agreement if you
Thank you. Once showing up once on the forum.
Amazing. I'd also like to invite Dr. Ann Sinclair to step forward and share her first attendance at this past acceleration retreat and what has transpired for you since our acceleration retreat experience together.
Well, I think it's been incredible. So much movement in the last few months. It's been crazy. During the preparation for the retreat, I realized that one of my beliefs that hadn't been voiced yet was that I couldn't handle running a business, doing a whatever, okay? And so I kind of looked at all of the things that we did on that day through that lens and kind of, what could I do? Now, I talked to you after the retreat as well. And the biggest thing for me was that at the retreat, you talked about being deserving and worthy, which rings true for me, but for a totally different Christian thing. So I couldn't really wrap my head around, I am deserving, everyone's deserving. I am worthy, everyone's worthy. And so one of the things that Heather said was, let's reframe that as readiness. So after that, after the retreat, I started to ask myself, am I ready? I've done a lot of educational things, as you can guess from the doctoral title, and all sorts of extra certifications, et cetera, et cetera. And I had myself in such a analysis paralysis that I just freaked myself out and couldn't do anything. Because as we saw on our sheet today, I was just too overwhelmed and I couldn't do anything. But as I have asked myself, are you ready to do this? One of my affirmations has become, I am ready to do this. And so I found myself having a 3-month client who is just finishing her time with me that started right after the retreat. I also have had another one that started just last week. Another person who wants to do Reiki. I had another person just over the weekend call me and want to do voice stuff. And although I still am on Nancy's program of I'll be on the forum once a year, I actually started an Instagram for the mystical side of my business called the Hermit Mystic. And so am I ready to do that? Am I ready to learn Canva? And so finally I've been able to say, I am ready. And here we are.
And here we are. Here we are. So just in case everyone's ears didn't catch it, we've got 4 new clients since the acceleration retreat in August. And showing up in visibility and vulnerability on social media. And Anne is still here, meaning she didn't self-combust. So she's handling it.
Right.
Amazing. Now that's empowerment and that's acceleration. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you so much, Anne. Wow. Let's just even note acceleration from I'm only going to show up on the forum once a year, and now they're actually talking out loud on this weekly training roundtable. Acceleration. Amazing. 5 seats still remain for the acceleration retreat, and 2 seats still remain for the quantum leap training, and a wait list is available for the quantum leap retreat. High recommendation, take advantage of the early bird tuition and set yourself up for knowing that you can handle the acceleration and quantum leap retreat when supported from a perspective of HSP leadership and empowerment. Thank you again to Nancy and Anne, and congratulations. Amazing.